But that's not really my outcome for this particular class and group and meditation and all that. So tonight, what we're talking about is resiliency. So people have told me that resiliency is one of my superpowers, and we're going to talk about your superpower tonight, or at least help you to get focused on it. But really, resiliency is your ability not so much to handle things as much as it is to keep your options open as to the ways in which you can handle things. So some people can handle certain situations great. Some people can handle other situations better. But really, when you develop the skill of resiliency, no matter what life throws at you, you can not only survive, we're not even really talking about surviving tonight. What I'd like to do is help you to kind of step it up to the next level. And the thing is, for you to get in touch with why would you want to do that, right? A lot of people right now, I see two types of people that I've gotten feedback from in the world right now. One type is saying, oh, the virus has shut down the whole world, everything's on hold, so I'll just, have a drink or smoke some funny cigarettes and watch Netflix and kind of chill and pretend this is like, just extended vacation or time off from life, right? And then the other group of people that I see, which I kind of fit into this category, is like, okay, let's step it up. Okay, things aren't going the way that they were going, but how do I want it to go? What can I do? What can I do right now to make a difference? How can I make a difference in your lives, right? Not about my life. I'm busy right now. I got a ton of work that I could be doing and making money and all kinds of fun stuff, but I'm doing this for you. I really want you to see the value in this. And there's some people on the call, there's some people that have been on past calls that know I value my time. And on the same note, I give of my time as much as I can. So my goal for you is to offer you as much value as possible. And sometimes I shudder to do things for free because then the perception is that there's no value to the content. So, I've been kind of playing around with, because one of my coaches, it's a kind of an interesting story. She was my coach, and then I coached her, and now she's telling me what she's doing, and I want her to coach me again. So we're kind of going like back and forth with it, but really we've developed a dynamic relationship where we're both helping each other to grow at like phenomenal rates. So, this week I did a meditation, my own personal meditation, and it came to me, what am I going to teach? I'm going to teach resiliency because it's kind of like my superpower. It's where I shine in resiliency, my ability to handle just about any situation that comes at me. I can figure it out and rise to the top. And it's not like I have any great skills or talents. It's just in my ability to look at all the possibilities instead of looking at what's not possible or what the problems are. It's just the way my mind works. I see the possibilities in things. I look for possibilities. I look for the solutions. I look for multiple ways that the problem can be solved. And I really boil it down to kind of like I can solve puzzles. So what I hope for you to glean from this session tonight is an added ability to be able to be resilient for yourself in your own life and in the circumstances that are going on right now. So, the first part that I want to do is to help you to find what's called your emotional home, right? I was on a call today with a group that I belong to that's run by Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi, and they're creating, I've been working with them since July, and they're working at creating a new norm in the field of education. And it's really shifting, and it kind of put me a little bit ahead of the curve. So I was thanking them and blessing them today for what they've done, what they've set up, is that they've been teaching for the last year and a half. They've been teaching for a lot longer, but this particular program for the last year and a half on how to do things online, how to create workshops online, how to create masterminds online, how to just propel knowledge out to people and make it an industry, which is turning into a multi-billion-dollar industry as we speak, and accelerated by this COVID, whatever phenomenon. So a lot of people are saying, oh, this is terrible, this is whatever, and they're angry, they're sad, they're feeling upset, they're feeling isolated, they're feeling bored. Whatever it is that you're feeling, I want you to just take a moment, okay? And then I'm going to ask you to share with me, please, because I count on the interactions with this, and I want to customize what I'm doing tonight just for you so that you get a benefit from it. And trust me, I mean, there might be 2 people on the call, there might be 5 people on the call, there might be 100 people on the call, but even if only 3 people or 4 people participate in giving me feedback, I can assure you that the rest of the people that will listen to this are thinking along the same lines, and they will benefit from the feedback that you give me. So I'm counting on your interactions with this. And what I want you to think about is, what are you feeling right now about this virus, about the situation that this virus has created, about the fact that, you know, 2/3 of the world is kind of like on pause right now, and people can't travel, they can't go out, people are afraid to socialize, people are afraid to breathe near one another, okay? And I had a really, really enlightening moment today, and I was very happy for it. And I don't want to share names because I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I went and I had acupuncture today, and I had a massage today, and I was very happy to see that the people there, they weren't paranoid, they weren't upset, they were there to help people to feel better. And anyone who knows me personally knows that 2 weeks ago I buried a good friend of mine, and since then I've had trouble with my back. And there's obviously mental, emotional issues that I'm working through with my coaches, and my mentors are helping me. But there's a real and very definite physical aspect to it, as pointed out by the acupuncturist and massage therapist today when they looked at my back and said, whoa, what's going on here? So I worked on that. I'm grateful for people that are out there that are still doing stuff. I have a good friend of mine that works in a hospital. She's on the front lines. She's a PA working in the emergency room of a very, very busy hospital. And she's working and working and working, and she comes home exhausted. Her feet are hurting, and they tell her to come in, like, you know, forget about resting. Someone else can't make it. And she's like skipping breaks and just working major overtime. So my kudos to the people that are out there doing right now. But what I want to direct this towards is, what are you feeling right now about this situation? So who would like to share?
I'll share, Yannick, I'll share.
Okay, go ahead. So what's going on for you, Yannick?
I do feel I should be cautious, because I'm sorry about your loss of your friend that just passed away 2 weeks ago, because I've known people who are sick. You know, the beginning was like, okay, it's happening over there, but I know people who have passed away, who are sick. So I'm using the precautions, but at the same time, I also am very grateful that I still have a job. That's like one situation, and I'm making the best of the time. I said, you know, at home I do yoga in the morning. I'm not a complainer. I said, from as bad as this is, even though there can be an earthquake in the country, someone benefits from it. Like, so I'm like, what can I do that's positive, even though this is a terrible thing going on? You know, like I'm doing this now, this meditation, yoga, I'm doing more writing. So I'm making the best of my time. But I am aware I have the luxury to do that. Some people are in a home where they don't want to be home, and they go to work because they want to get away from home. That's not my situation. So I'm grateful for what I have, and I have the option to think that way, to, you know, to want to go back to acupuncture, and things like that. But I am being cautious too, because people are getting the virus. And I do respect what you said about the physical, emotional, because I have something with me, a rash. I think it's an emotional thing, you know, so, but I'm making the best of the time I have, doing things I love to do. Like I just signed up for a grant writing class online and things like that. But I have to be realistic too, you know. Like
So overall, how would you put that into an emotional state? Like what state would you say you're in for the most part as a result of this situation?
I want to say hopeful. I hope none of my loved ones get it, or I get it. That's what I say. Okay. But to say that I'm totally free, I'm not going to get it, is unrealistic too, because people I know are. people that I see every day, they're sick, and some are sicker than others. But I'm hopeful and making, that's a word that comes to me.
Okay. Hopeful is a good word. I like that word. I'm just going to reach over and grab my notepad. Sorry, it's a little out of reach. Okay. And who else would like to share what's going on for them?
Hi, Mark. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure, Esther.
I can share.
Okay.
I think it's a mix of emotions. I think if I can summarize it in 2 words, the first one would be creative. I feel like I feel the most creative I've been in a while, because I'm able to, like the other person was saying, I have the luxury of being happy in my space, and although I'm not working, I am finding other ways to keep myself productive. And I think the other word, I think every day sort of brings a different emotion, but I can summarize the first one with creative. And the second one that's not so, I guess, positive is disconnected. I find that I intentionally don't really tune into the news for days on end, because when I do, like, it's emotionally draining. And I find myself feeling really down and just seeing, other people being affected by it. And most recently, friends closer to me have been affected. And it's almost like the notion of sort of like escaping reality because you don't want to deal with it, but obviously you have to come back and deal with it. So I think every day I treat it differently according to how I'm sort of feeling that day. And I allow myself to feel those emotions. I try not to ignore them. I
Right.
just try not to sit in them for too long. So I think it's interesting to feel hopeful on one side and grateful and creative for this time and the sort of reset and this break that's given me time to do a lot of things that I didn't have the time to do, but then also kind of come back into reality and say this is actually happening and it's affecting people that are close to me. So it's like a duality, if I could best put it that way.
Okay, cool. And thank you for sharing.
Sure.
So anyone else want to share something? And then I'm going to kind of
I'll share if you want.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, so, I had a rough week this week. My wife actually got admitted into the hospital, with her medication situation. So, I've been trying to deal with that. And then, you can't even go visit, which kind of sucks. I feel bad for her. She can't do phone calls really on her cell phone. So it's a little challenging to get to see her, but I feel bad. And I'm just, trying to deal with it as best as I can and give her the support she needs. The good part is I took her to the right hospital because looking at some of the other ones in the area, they have a lot more cases of COVID. And I was like, you know what, I'm trying to avoid as many of those as I can because obviously that's a problem. So it seems to be they're working on changing her meds and she's working on getting better. And she's, she has some good days and some bad days. But, I said to her, look, it's going to take, a little while. It's not going to happen overnight. Medication, is something that you got to play with a little, unfortunately, and try to get what works. So she may be there.
So let's come back to the feeling aspect, like everything going on right now in relation to the bigger virus. I get that you had a couple of personal things going on, but overall, and even how that affected the personal thing, like you said, with your choice of the hospital and
I feel like
so what are you feeling about it right now?
I feel positive that I'm making good choices, even though sometimes I have, hard decisions to make. And, I'm taking care of my kids. So I've been trying to, be very productive and proactive with them. And the good time is I'm getting to spend a lot of quality time with my kids that I usually don't get to spend just because I'm always working. So I'm thrilled about that because I've been, getting to spend more time with my daughter and my son. And usually, my daughter be spending time with my wife and my son be spending time with me doing sports or whatever. But since there is no sports, we're finding more time to do things together, which is good.
Okay, cool.
The silver lining is that I realize that I am way more productive than I've been allowing myself. I've been holding back. And after this is all over, there's going to be a major shift in the way I handle things. I've already started, doing virtual showings and things that I would never thought I would have been able to do, but I'm doing as best as I can, videoing and doing different things, just, adjusting, monitoring, and controlling my life.
Okay, very cool. So all good examples so far. Anyone else want to share? Okay.
Well,
Hello? Okay, so
I wanted to say something. This is Yannick again. I want to say that something that Esther said that I think of a word grateful, and I've been more creative. And what Ed said, I was never a tech person. I've been learning so much stuff about computer technology. It's so funny. I just text my son and said, I will not be needing your tech support anytime soon because I'm learning. So it's giving me I'm making the opportunity to do things I normally wouldn't do. You know, touching things I don't normally do and being more creative.
right.
People said that too.
Cool. So that with that one word, you're a step ahead of the game here. Opportunity, right? So
Yeah.
I've been talking about that since the first meditation we did a couple of weeks ago, and it really is about finding the opportunity. So the cool thing about this is that most of the emotions that you guys gave are actually pretty positive emotional states, you know, if not totally positive. So the thing is that I want you to realize is that these states that you have are not because of the virus. They're not because of the current situation. I'm going to request that you just kind of review over the last couple of months or last couple of years of your life and just think about how often you've felt these emotions about other things going on in your life. How often you've felt hopeful, you've felt grateful, you've felt creative, you've felt disconnected, you've felt drained by things going on. You felt a little bit down, but you didn't dwell on it. You felt positive, like you were making good choices. You felt productive. You felt proactive. So really what this is about is building in your ability to stay consistent with who you are, right? Because it comes down to 3 decisions that you make about every situation in your life. And I've heard Tony Robbins talk about this many times before, and today it just kind of like really hit home for me. And I figured it tied in really good with the level of resiliency that I want to share with you guys tonight and help you to integrate it on a conscious and another than conscious level as well. So there's a cool thing, and I learned it by years ago. I learned how to surf. And, you know, in learning how to surf, you know, there's a couple of dynamics that are important, right? And timing is one of the biggest things. Hey, Carol.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
Glad you joined us.
Thank you. Sorry I'm late.
That's okay. So what we're talking about is, you know, different emotional states that people have and that people have felt, and they're not brand new to this situation. You've felt those before. So really, I think one of the biggest things to seek out, as Edward's putting it, to find the opportunities in this, which is what I've been helping you to focus on, is to be hyper proactive right now. Not to react to what's going on, not to say because this is happening and that's happening, I have to do this or I have to do that. Okay, I mean, I'm teaching on Zoom right now, but I've been teaching on Zoom since September, long before anybody mentioned about the virus. And I've been teaching long before that. I just kind of transitioned through a good friend of mine, prompted me to teach a class, and I did it, and it was a stretch for me. But thinking on the fly and making it happen and being a doer is really the skills that you take to make something happen. Instead of making excuses, you can get results. And so the first decision that people make when faced with any situation is, what are you going to focus on, right? So right now you have a choice. You could focus on what you have, right? Or you could focus on what's missing. So just the fact that a lot of you stated that you're focused on being hopeful and being grateful and creative and positive and making good choices, okay, those are focused on what you have and or what's possible, right? So that's another one of the focal points is, You can focus on the past, or you can focus on the present or the future. Now, typically, successful people are the ones that focus on present to future. You don't want to focus on just the future because you want to stay present. I mean, the whole purpose of this meditation right now is to be mindful, to stay present, to really be in the moment. And at the same time, having an optimism and an attitude of optimism about the future. So there's something to hope for. Things are getting better. You're moving into something. You're creating things. So again, that comes down to focusing on what you're in control of, or you could focus on what you're not in control of. I mean, right now, the government is making decisions that these things are closed, and that the stores are making decisions that they're only going to be open at certain times, and certain doctors are making decisions that they don't have office hours except under extreme conditions. And certain hospitals are making guidelines that they'll only let certain people in, and certain agencies are making rules that only certain places get the right testing for this virus. So, all of these are kind of mostly outside of our control, but what we can focus on is what is within our control. How can we take safe measures? How can we control our mindset by not watching the negative aspects that are out there in the world? How can we, focus on our superpowers, like being more creative, or being more productive, or being more connected, or being more grateful, or being more positive, or making better choices, right? These are all the things that you can do. So just take a moment, and we're gonna really focus on this in the meditation part, but I want you to just think about it like your superpower. And the way you kind of discover that is just think about a gift that you have, like something, a talent, a skill, an ability, some sort of gift you have, or an ability to have insights into certain situations, or maybe you read people really well, or you're really good at relationships, or maybe you're really good at technology, or maybe you're really good at spatial awareness and decorating and how to place things, or feng shui, or the flow of energy in a room, or energy within people, or maybe you're a healer, or maybe you have strong intuition, or maybe there's something that you're just passionate about, that you like really just enjoy doing, and you get so lit up about it that anyone around you, even if they don't like to do that thing, they just get lit up because they can see how lit up you are. Or just some ways in which you feel that you can share with others in your life, either directly by people that you still do have personal contact with, or even if you can't have personal contact with people, ways that you can share indirectly, something that you can share either by, maybe going through a phone list. Go through your phone. I know I have probably like 500 plus numbers in my phone, and I probably don't know 80% of those people anymore. They might have been past clients that I haven't been in touch with, but a lot of those people I do know. So really, really cool story. Anyone who's been on any of these knows that one of my favorite things is synchronicities, right? So I had a really cool synchronicity this week, and he's not on the call yet, at least, but maybe he will be. I had a good friend of mine that I haven't seen in a long time. And I didn't know exactly how long until we actually had this conversation. But he reached out to me, just like called me up Monday at 4:50, and I get on the phone, and he's like, "Hi, this is Peter." And I'm like, "Oh my God, Peter, where have you been? What's going on?" And he, last I saw him, I visited him in Connecticut, and he had a 1-year-old son, and it turns out his son is 13. So it's obviously been 12 years since I saw him. And the last time I was there, him and his wife were having some issues and some fears and things they needed to just resolve, and they had apprehensions about their future. And I told him I do hypnosis, and he's like, "Can you do a hypnosis session on us?" So spontaneously, we just set up. He had 2 nice, comfortable chairs. They sat down next to each other. They each gave me separate content, but I guided them through one group trance. And at the end of it, they were both like beaming ear to ear, and they were thanking me and inviting me to come back, soon. But here it is 12 years later. And, stuff happened. I got involved in stuff. He got involved in stuff. And lo and behold, it turns out that him and his wife, they got divorced, and they both moved separately, but sort of together, to San Diego. And he's involved in a business that I was involved in the industry with him many years ago, 20 years prior to the last time I saw him. So about 32 years ago, we were involved in an industry together, and he had a client that needed some old product. So he reaches for a box that was piled on top of a bunch of boxes, and anyone who's ever moved knows all about the piles of boxes. And as he's reaching for that box, it falls over and it lands on the couch, and papers everywhere. But amidst all this pool of papers, one business card lands on the top of a pillow face up. And it's my business card, right? So what's the significance of that? Well, like I said, he was divorced. He was reaching out. He was trying to find someone to date. He meets this girl, and it turns out that she's a hypnotist. And he's like, oh, the last time I was hypnotized was my friend Mark Siegel, but I don't even have a way to get in touch with him. And then here it is, a couple of hours later, he's reaching for this box. The box falls. My card comes out, and he called me right away. So, you know, it's interesting how energy works, and it brings you into things that you have to pay attention to, you have to be aware of, you have to be grateful for, that you have these connections in the world around you, and it's an energy that you can create things. And when you put the right meaning to things, right? What's a synchronicity? It's a meaningful coincidence. So the next question in any situation that you ask is, what does this mean, right? So does it mean, oh yeah, so like, yeah, he just randomly picked a box and it randomly fell, and a random card came to the top and he called my number, right? Doesn't have to mean anything. But he looked at it as a sign that he was thinking about hypnosis. He had no way of figuring out how to get in touch with me. He had changed phones, lost my number, blah, blah, blah. And then boom, here comes my card. So he asked a question, he got the answer. And this is the way the universe works. When you ask a question, you get an answer. And it's always the answer you need. It might not always be the answer that you want or the answer that you expect, but it's always the answer you need. So when you start asking yourself, what does this mean? And you start finding empowering meanings, right? So, you know, people could look at this virus as meaning, oh, the world has come to a halt and it's bad, and people are getting sick, and it's a conspiracy, and there's all kinds of negative things associated with it. Or you could look at it as an opportunity, okay? And even if it's just an opportunity to be grateful, right? You know, there's, you know, someone I know who may be on this call, and they can call themselves out if they want, but someone I know was documented with the virus and was sick for a couple of weeks and is now healed. And I believe that they were going to the doctor, maybe even today, to get verified that they tested negative for the virus, even though they're a very positive person.
Thank you, Mark. That was me. I got retested this morning, so I should have my results in 48 hours.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. You can call yourself out. I wasn't going to call you out, but Carol, you know, I know. So here's the thing, you know, Carol is positive. Carol keeps a good attitude. Carol teaches and does a lot of the same stuff that I'm doing with you here tonight. She's a nutritionist. She's a health and wellness coach. She knows a lot about different types of therapies and the way the mind works. And, you know, even in spite of bad news and feeling very sick, I know, you know, personally that you kept yourself in a very, very positive space. And, you know, a lot of people might say that had nothing to do with your healing. And I think it had to do a lot with your healing. Would you agree, Carol?
Oh gosh, so much so. So much so. Yep.
So for people that do get sick, for people that are having issues with this, you know, it's not a death sentence, okay? And, you know, there's no reason to do that. My accountant's brother was sick on a respirator for 10 days, okay? And after, I think, 5 or maybe 7 days, the law states that you cannot resuscitate the person if they fail to be able to breathe on their own after 5 to 7 days. It doesn't mean you take them off the respirator, but if they need to be resuscitated while on the respirator, they just let them go, which is, it sounds cruel. It's just that there's so many cases that they're dealing with apparently. And after 10 days, his brother came back. He's breathing freely on his own right now, and he's in a state of full recovery. So, you know, there's probably more of those stories than we're hearing about in the news. And I encourage you to stay, you know, listen to the good stuff, right? That's my take on it, is listen to the good stuff. You know, not, there's tons of negative out there, and, you know, you can pay attention to whatever you want, but, you know, life is choice, right? That's my favorite saying, life is choice. So when you pay attention to the good part, you can get the good part. When you pay attention to the negative, you can get the negative. When you pay attention to what you want, you get what you want. So it's really a matter of being proactive at this point and deciding in advance what it is that you want to come from all this. Where do you want to be at the end of all this? So what we're going to do is we're going to do kind of this guided meditation now of what I call a process called future pacing. So we're going to pretend as if it's some point in the future, and, you know, no one's going to pin a date on it yet, but at some point the virus and all the threats about it are going to end. Now, I don't know if we're going to return back to normal as we knew it before. Probably not. Okay, there's going to be what people are calling the new normal, whatever that is. And I guess collectively, everyone's going to kind of decide what that is. But really, what I want you to do is kind of play out your best case scenario and say, okay, with everything that's going on in the world right now, how are you going to come out of this and not just survive it and not even just thrive, but how are you going to shine? How are you going to be, you know, so followers go out and they say, okay, the world's doing this and this is the rules and I'm just going to comply with those rules. And they go out and they do what they need to do, you know, but, you know, as Dean Graziosi was saying today, he says, these are unprecedented times, and unprecedented times create unprecedented opportunities. So when you start to plan ahead, okay, you know, a lot of people, you know, I hear people that are saying, oh, they're doing all this stuff for anti-aging and this and that. But the thing is, they're already old and they already look old. And now they're kind of panicking that it's kind of too late to do anything about it. You know, I look back to, and I thank God for the choices that I've made. When I was 23 years old, I made a choice to start eating healthy, and that evolved over the next 5 to 8 years. So that by the time I was 30 or 31, I was totally vegan. And I look at that lifestyle now as, you know, things that have helped me to look and feel and act younger than most people my age. I mean, I meet up with people, you know, from high school or whatever, and I look at them and they look like grandparents. Some of them are, but they look it, you know, and I, you know, I feel that a lot of the things that I've done have helped me, my skin feeling better, looking better, my body functioning better, my back being the exception of that right now. But that was really due to an injury. And, you know, you're as old as you feel and as old as you think you are, but there's also things that you can do to keep yourself in good shape by planning ahead. So right now, you know, there are things that we can do to kind of plan ahead, that when the world reopens and things come back, how can we be a step ahead of the game? How can we jump on things? How can we take our superpowers and express them to the world, and not even wait till the virus is over, but start now, be ahead of the curve, so that when you're out there, people look at you as the go-to person. They say, as bad as things were, you were out there shining. You were out there doing your stuff. You were out there being creative. You were out there offering value to the world around you. You were out there giving and sharing and being passionate and and making things happen. Okay. A lot of people, they look at the word courage, like, so a lot of people think courage is, is overcoming your fears so that you act, that you're not even acting from fear. But the definition that I go from is that courage is feeling the fear, right? And not just feeling it a little bit, but feeling it full on, right? And then when you feel that fear full on and you act anyhow, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. I'm working right now. I'm getting more busy than I've ever been before with my coaching clients. And I'm niching in on people that are actually, they're looking to, like, a lot of businesses are scared right now. They're like, oh my God, how am I going to stay in business? Right. And they're scared that they're going to go out of business. Right. I'm working right now. I just took on a handful of new clients that are paying me good money to coach them to start a business, right? So that sounds crazy. Why would anyone think of starting a business right now? Because you know what? Because they're being prepared. They're getting ahead of the curve and they're looking at, okay, so maybe I'm not going to have a brick and mortar business like I was planning, but what can I do online? What can I do over the phone? What can I do to kind of get things in play? And even if I don't actually start my business right now, I can have a business plan. I can get the financing in order. I can get investors set up. I can start making calls. I can start building a list of potential clientele. So there's tons of stuff that you can do if you focus on what can you do, right? So the third decision is about taking action. It's what are you doing, right? The choices that you make lead to feeling emotions, right? And when you make the right choices and you feel the right emotions, and then that compounds taking more and more action on it, and you get excited about what you're doing, then you start to take advantage of the unprecedented opportunities that are out there. Okay. And instead of being a follower and doing what the rest of the world is doing, which is listening to the news and living in fear and panic and wondering why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to the world? What's the outcome going to be? No, stop and ask yourself, what outcome do you want? So this is what we're going to focus on in the meditation. And we're going to start in literally a minute. And I want you to have that in your mind. What do you want to create? How can you be a leader, right? So what's your superpower? And how can you turn your superpower into something you can share with the world around you, starting with your immediate circle? And then how can you expand that out into something that people need, right? A lot of people came to me and they said, we're feeling stressed, we're feeling anxiety, we're feeling like this virus is kind of like coming down on us, and I'm afraid of getting sick and this and that. And I did my first class called Stay Calm and Stay Healthy, right? And it was dealing with the thought part of the virus, the meme part. And it's benefiting people. And I'm just trying to shape this class in the way that everyone and anyone who listens to this can benefit from it and get the most from it, in a way that you grow from this experience, that you grow and you learn and you become more and more of a better version of who you truly are deep inside. So I'm gonna put on some music, and then we're gonna jump into the trance part. I'm a little bit behind on a couple of the classes, but I'll tell you what, my offer still stands. Anyone who sends me any feedback, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create gifts that I can give out, because I just want to keep offering more and more value to you and make it so that you can get the most benefit from what I'm offering. So one of those gifts is I can get an audio recording of what I'm doing right now in a way that I can send it to you as a 25 to 30 minute audio MP3 that you can listen to on your phone or your iPod or whatever MP3 playing device you utilize, and then be able to listen to it over and over and over again. And so I'm going to share my computer audio. Okay. And okay, so So everybody, hopefully you're in a nice, calm place, quiet place, relaxed place. If you can be listening with headphones, all the better. And what I want you to do is just take a moment, and it all starts with breathing, right? It's pretty important to breathe, you know. One of my mentors would talk about addiction, right? And you know, he's a master hypnotherapist, and he says, the way I see it, you know, people could debate about whether cigarettes are addictive or even whether certain drugs are addictive. But his definition I really like, and I still hold to it to this day, is that your body will malfunction without it. So that's the definition of an addiction. And I've actually taught classes on, are you addicted to your stress? Because some people will malfunction without stress in their life, and they thrive on stress. And there's a good form of stress called eustress, that a lot of people have taught classes just on that, on how to utilize stress to be empowered and to get more productive and to get more done. But what I'm really talking about here is, you know, things that you physically need to survive. So, you know, the other one that we both kid around about is breathing. So air. Most people wouldn't survive very long. So it's really where we start in meditation. The basic is to breathe. Okay, and there's no special breathing technique, but what I want you to do is just take a moment and just be aware of taking a nice deep breath in. And then as you exhale, just allow your eyes to gently close and relax. Okay? And I'd like you to imagine in front of you is a giant yardstick. Okay, and on the top of that yardstick is the number 36, and on the bottom is the number 0, right? And this yardstick is not really representing inches or yards even though I'm going to call it a yardstick. But it's really going to represent to you a level of conscious awareness or depth of trance. So the good news is, as many of you have heard me say, but I'm going to say it again, is the depth of trance, you can go into a light trance and have profound change in your life. You can go into a deep trance and enjoy it, but not necessarily have any change in your life. So I suggest that you pick a number in a minute that relates to the depth of trance that will give you the highest benefit that you need to get from this particular journey that I'm going to take you on in a way that works best for you, not just now, but on an ongoing basis. Okay, and even though this might not sound like hypnotic language right now, your other than conscious mind realizes that it already is a way for you to connect with that part of your mind that's aware of 2.3 million bits of information per second, taking it in and processing it behind the scenes, while your conscious mind is maybe distracted by the story of what I'm telling you about, in such a way that you can make profound changes in your life without even being consciously aware of the fact that you were being guided through a process to make any change at all. Yet, your awareness can be shifted on many levels to then come back to focusing on taking a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, just allow yourself to relax and begin to imagine the yardstick in front of you, and notice that 36 will represent fully conscious, fully awake, fully alert, fully aware. And at the same time, 0 represents totally unconscious, comatose, far deeper than you'd ever want to go in any trance, at least not the one that I'm going to lead anyone into. But somewhere above 0 is sleep. Okay, and whatever number you put to that is fine, okay, but somewhere above 0 is sleep, and it's still really deeper than you want to go into, especially in a meditation trance. So really where you want to be is that sweet spot, somewhere in between sleep and 36 is your ideal level of trance to go into, to be in the ideal meditative state where you can have just the right amount of conscious awareness or not, and just the right amount of other than conscious awareness or not, and be able to have them in the right balance or harmony so that you can get the highest benefit for yourself just from listening to this now. I mean, as you sit here, right now, the sound of my voice, giving you this information, you can simply choose a number, right? And as you choose that number, you can be aware of when you're at that number and hold that number plus or minus 1 throughout this process so that you get the highest benefit from it. And what I'd like you to realize is, where are you at right now? So take your left hand and kind of hold it up in the air a little bit, and so that it's kind of out in front of you but up in the air, okay? And it should take a little bit of strain consciously to hold your arm up, and you can do this with your eyes closed, okay? And I want you to let that represent the number of where you're at right now. So let's say, a lot of people tell me, oh, I'm at like a 32, right? So let's say you're at a 32. That where your arm is right now is going to represent, let's say, 32. And when it's resting comfortably by your side again, or on your lap, or on the chair, or flops by the floor, wherever it lands, that's going to represent your ideal trance number. So for the sake of the group, let's say that's somewhere around 12 or 15, right? So 12 or 15 might represent your ideal trance, but use whatever number works for you. They're really just random numbers, but some number that you're at right now is a higher number than the level of trance that you want to be into, or maybe you're already in a deep trance, I don't know. And that's fine. You can just stay there now. Enjoy this even more, right? By choice, and to realize that only as quickly as your hand is going to begin to lower in a minute will you allow yourself to go down to that level of trance in a way that you can maintain that level of trance plus or minus throughout this session, and bring yourself into that ideal resourceful level of trance that works best for you to become even more and more resilient in all areas of your life, by adding in that flexibility of how you focus and what you focus on, and how you can shift how you feel as a result of what you're focusing on, and then put the right empowering meaning to it to make the best possible choices so that you generate the emotions that allow you to feel even more resourceful and even more resilient in a way that you act upon it, and you become a leader by adding value to the situation, by adding meaning to the situation, by adding a positive meaning to the situation, and by not only seeing the opportunities, but creating opportunities for yourself and for others in the world around you. So as you imagine right now that even without even really thinking about it too much, you might understand that consciously, it'll be pretty hard to tell the difference between 32 and 31, or your arm might need to go all the way down to 30 or 29 before you'd even realize it started to move. But the other unconscious part of your mind can tell the difference between 29 and 28.7, can it not? So as you allow your arm to go down, as you allow yourself to go deeper and deeper into trance, because you'll have a good realization of what that feels like for you, I'm just going to continue talking, and I'm going to tell you a story about being able to find within yourself this discovery, this wonderful buried treasure within yourself called your superpower, and you're going to be able to bring it out, and you're going to be able to utilize the 3 choices that you're making at any given moment, to utilize this in a way that you become hyper proactive, and you're taking the right steps at the right time in the right way. Because as I started telling you earlier, years ago, 1986 to be precise, July 3rd, 1986, I met up with my cousin in Huntington Beach. And many of you who know me now might find it hard to believe, but I was about 35 pounds heavier than I am right now. I weigh about 150 now. I weighed over 180 pounds, almost 185 pounds, plus or minus at that point. I was eating McDonald's at least once a day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, or if not McDonald's, and I was eating Burger King or Roy Rogers or pizza or hot dogs or all kinds of crazy stuff that people can't even imagine me eating now. But I was eating and working and working and working and eating, and I had a cabinet shop doing trade show displays. I was working 80 to 100-hour weeks, and my goal was very clearly to survive, right? I heard that Most businesses go out of business within the first year, and very few survive 3 years. So I said, you know what? I'm going to set a goal. I want to survive 3 years. You know, my father had just passed away. I took over his business, which actually put me in business in debt because my father had a loan against the business. He had some insurance that paid off one of the loans, but one of the other loans wasn't covered fully by the insurance. And I took it over to do what I needed to do to help my mom out and to take over the business, which was my father's dream, which was actually the business that I was talking about earlier, where I was connected with my friend Peter, long lost Peter. And what had happened was I had not taken a vacation in 3 years. And my goal was to survive, right? So be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. So I set a goal to survive for 3 years. And guess what I did? I survived for 3 years, right? And a lot of people do this in life. You can think about times in your life where you were just surviving, you were getting by, you were doing what you needed to do, you were going through the motions, and nothing bad was happening, but nothing good was happening either. You were just surviving. And it seemed almost like a rewarding situation to just survive. And at the end of 3 years, I was actually very proud of myself that I accomplished that, because a lot of businesses don't accomplish that. So, but then my friend comes to me and he goes, okay, enough with this survival. Now it's time for you to start to experience life. And he says, you need to get away. You need to go on vacation. You need to do something fun. So he prompted me to go with him to Aruba. A friend of his had timeshare, and we went on this vacation. And if you've ever been on vacation, you can imagine the feeling and the anticipation of getting ready for a vacation is nothing but excitement and anticipation of a beautiful place, especially like Aruba. You know, there's going to be clean water and beautiful weather and sunshine and wonderful things to do there, and relaxation and stress-free, and just all the relaxation of the things you're going to see there. And I kind of had in mind a little bit of a tropical island, and Aruba's not really a tropical island, but it's still a very beautiful place, and the weather is phenomenal. They get maybe on a bad year 14 inches of rain the whole year, and the whole time we were there wasn't a drop of rain. It was beautiful, serene. We had great food. We met great people. The motto of Aruba is one happy island, and they really, really live up to that model because their main commodity is tourism, and they aim to please, and that's what they do really well. So, you know, there's a little bit of gambling there. There's good foods. There's a little bit of touristy stuff to do, but not a lot. The whole island's kind of small. But we had a wonderful time. As you can imagine, being on vacation, that wonderful feeling of being in the sun, or, you know, being able to do what you want, or even just being away in a hotel without phones ringing and without clients and without any obligations to the world around you, or being able to play golf or take walks or do things in nature that you want to do, or explore new places. Whatever a vacation means to you, just imagine what that's like now for you. Imagine your ideal dream vacation. And that's kind of what the experience was like for me. You know, and I took in the feelings, right? You can imagine the feelings you have when you're away on vacation, especially by the end of the week. You're just like totally unwound, and you're enjoying it. And you just want it to keep going, right? And you want to just take that feeling with you, being on vacation. And the things that I saw, and the beautiful sights, and the wonderful crystal clear water, and the taste of the delicious foods, and the smells of the tropical breezes on the island, the fresh, clean air, the fresh, clean water, and everything was just an amazing experience. Getting a massage, and the smell of the oils, and the feel of just being totally relaxed, and being with some good friends, and having a good time, and, you know, gambling a little bit, and winning some money, and staying in a nice place, in a comfortable bed, and saying to myself, wow, this is so enjoyable, and us just laughing and having a good time, and just being with good people in a good place. It's just really, really wonderful, and I wanted more of it, right? So about 6 months later, those good feelings started to wear off, and my friend is like, well, let's go on a trip. Let's go to California. Let's go visit some people in California. And we went, We went to San Francisco, and then we went to San Diego, and then I got in touch with my cousin in Huntington Beach, and we wound up there. After we went from San Diego to Huntington Beach, which is about probably about an hour and a half to 2 hour drive, but we went via Vegas because neither one of us had been to Vegas before. So we went from San Diego to Vegas, and we hung out in Vegas all night, lost a couple of bucks, but had fun. And then we drove on July 4th to Huntington Beach, and there my cousin met us at the beach, and we learned lots of cool stuff. And I actually got in the water and I was learning how to surf. So one of the cool things in learning how to surf is about timing. So you paddle out, and you have to know when to dip under, because when the wave's coming and you've got a surfboard, okay, you can't go over the wave. You have to dive underneath the wave, so that because otherwise the surfboard's going to get lifted up in the air and you get flipped over on your back, right? So we were diving under the waves, and you know what it's like when you just like, you're in a good place and you're having fun and you just go deeper and deeper into it, and you're learning something new and you're excited about the anticipation of what you're going to learn and how the experience is going to be. And you like to say that you're planning ahead, anticipating the good time, but you really don't even know what to anticipate. You're kind of trusting on the mentor to guide you and take you through the experience. And any good experience in life, you know, when you do it with a mentor, someone that you look up to, someone that you trust, and they're guiding you through that process, and you're just feeling the experience as you're experiencing it, just makes it even more and more wonderful. So there we are. We've dived under several waves, and we've gotten deeper and deeper into the ocean. And now, you know, we can see the shore way off in the distance in one direction. And when we look out further into the ocean, we see way off in the distance some swells that are not quite yet waves yet, and some of them are breaking as waves way out, much further than we're ever going to go. So now my cousin starts teaching me about timing, and he tells me that if you wait until the wave is at you and you start paddling, well, you've missed it, right? If you wait until the wave is just at you and you start paddling, you've missed it. So what you really need to learn how to do is to see the wave. And if you want to catch the wave, this wonderful wave that's going to bring you into this amazing experience, then you need to time being just ahead of that wave in such a way that you build up enough momentum that when the wave comes, you're already up to speed, and then the wave just carries you effortlessly. You can then play with it, and you can go a little left and a little right, and empower yourself to control aspects of the experience. But the energy is created by this wave, and you're just playing off of the energy of this wave that's carrying you and making for this wonderful experience for you. So yes, there's a part of that wave that you did not create, right? It's a power, it's an energy, it's a force of nature that's moving whether you're there or not. But when you're there, and when you time it just right, and when you get ahead of the curve and you jump into that wave right at the right point, then you can stand up and you can ride that wave, and it will carry you all the way to a wonderful shore. And you have an experience that lasts a lifetime. So there I am, paddling and moving and getting up to speed. And my cousin guided me to get to the right speed at the right point. And I catch the wave. And I'm able to stand up for a little bit with all the techniques and tools that he's been teaching me. And I rode that wave. I did not ride it all the way into shore because I was by no means an expert surfer. But the 5 or maybe 10 minutes that I was standing on that board and that wave was carrying me, and I could turn a little bit left and a little bit right. I can tell you, I can feel that in my bones right now as if I'm actually there. I can see the sun glistening off the water. I can feel the movement in my body. I can hear the sound of my voice going, yes. I can hear my cousin cheering me on. Keep with it, keep with it. And just that whole experience, the taste of the salt water in my mouth, the smell of the sea breeze, just the whole experience, living life full on in the moment. It's really a moment that life is all about. And you've got your own experiences of doing things in your life where you've been hyper present, totally aware of just what's going on in this moment for you now. So as you hear now, the sound of my voice, talking to you and guiding you through these experiences, it's really not about the actual story that I'm telling you. The story is really just helping you to get the pattern of ways of thinking to create a resiliency. If you're not flexible, if you stand on the surfboard and the wave is just going to carry you and you stand stiff as the board, the wave will just knock you over and leave you behind. If you get up to speed and you count on that wave to carry all the momentum, but you're not turning it and you're not riding that wave actively, it will just leave you behind. So what you need to do is interact. You need to stay present enough to be aware of what the situation is, and you need to be focused on the future of anticipating what it is that you do want. So right now, it's not so much the situation, it's the meaning that you're creating of this situation in your life. And it's not wholly unlike any meaning that you've attached to another situation before in your life. You've done it before. You've felt this way about other things in your life. And as you realize it now, how you're feeling about this and how you've felt about other things in your life, you can start to apply the skills and the dynamic of the resiliency that you've had before, and you can build upon it, you can expand upon it. And take a moment now and imagine that some way, somehow, at some point in the future, right? Maybe sooner than we think even, the world returns to some sort of normal where you can go back into businesses, where you don't have to wear a mask, where you can not be afraid of breathing next to someone else, that the number of reported cases has gone down to 0, and you can go back into the world, and schools have opened, public places have opened again. What's going on for you at that point? Really be in touch with who you are in that moment when the world is quote unquote reopened, right? Where are you at? Imagine it's the day after everything's open. Notice how you feel. Notice what's going on around you. What's your world like? How have you set it up to be? What have you done to prepare for this? Or are you not prepared for this? It came upon you as a surprise or as a shock, or you're waiting to see, well, when it finally does reopen, then what are you going to do? But what actions can you take now that will help you to prepare for what actions? It's the day after. What actions had you taken that prepared you to be even more prepared for this than most people? What have you done to lead? How have you guided other people and made their life better or easier? Or how have you made it accommodating for people to re-enter into the quote-unquote functioning world again? Right? What have you been doing all this time that's productive? What passion have you pursued? What have you taken the time to do? How have you improved yourself? How have you improved the world around you? What insights did you have that paid off? What insights did you have that you totally could have anticipated that it came out totally different? What gifts have you gathered about yourself? Right? What insights have you discovered? New skills, new abilities, new things that you didn't even realize were in your skill set before, and now, because of your staying open and just allowing yourself to be in the moment and focused on a future that you want, without even really paying attention to exactly how that's going to happen, just allowing that part to unfold for you. Notice what's important to you about being in a good place when the world reopens. Why is it important to you? Why would you want to do this? Why would you want to start to anticipate what your life's going to be like so that you can start to proactively make it happen? Instead of allowing it to happen, instead of waiting for it to happen, instead of just riding the wave or getting washed away by the wave, how can you surf the wave, right? How can you take this unprecedented time in the world, this unprecedented problem, this unprecedented situation, and turn it into an unprecedented opportunity for you and others in your life to enjoy the benefits right now? Because if you immunize yourself against the negative thoughts and feelings that most people are getting consumed by, and you've begun to focus on what you do want, you're focusing on what you have, you're focusing on how good you can feel, you're focusing on your superpowers, you're focusing on what you are in control of, you're focusing on the present into the future, you're focusing on the positive and empowering things that this means to you, right? You're finding even more positive meanings in it, and what you're doing as a result of this, you're making the choices that lead you into a future worth belonging to. You're making the wonderful choices that create a future proactively, the future that you want to create. Yeah, sure, you're feeling fears. You don't know what's going to happen. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But you know what? I'm investing in myself. I'm investing in my business. And you can invest in yourself. You can invest in your business. You can invest in your career. You can invest in the opportunities that you want to create. You can invest in yourself as a person. You can invest in your relationships. You can invest in building your network. You can invest in tightening up things that you kind of let go loose a little bit. You can invest in making your space look the best that it's ever looked. You can invest in planning a wonderful vacation, that when you're able to travel the world, where are you going to go? You can invest in things that you're going to do for fun and recreation that you can actually start doing now, right? You can invest in the finding new relationships in your life. You can invest in your finances and looking at, okay, well, I wasn't prepared for this. So if anything like this ever happens in the future, now I'm going to have 18 months of my current expenses. I'm going to have 18 months in the bank. So if anything like this ever happens again, I don't have to worry about handouts from the government. I'm set. I got my own insurance, right? You can plan on many aspects of your life about being healthy. You can make healthier life choices. You can use this as a time to get yourself in shape, to do exercise, to go online and find someone who's giving online exercise courses. You can take this as a way to not only come out status quo, but status excellent, status hyper proactive, superpower you, the best of the best. So why would you do this? Why would you become a better version of yourself? Why not? Why not? You can take those fears, right, and face them full on. Take those apprehensions, face them full on, and overcome them. Why? Because then you become a better version of yourself. And it makes you more and more powerful, able to handle bigger and better things moving forward into the future, able to create things, able to become a leader, a thought leader, an energy leader, an action leader. People look at you, they admire what you're doing. They don't see you as sitting back waiting for the world to happen. They see you as the person who's out there making things happen. And guess what? When things return to normal, are they going to go to the person sitting next to them who just sat back and waited like they were? Or are they going to look for the people that grew during this time, that took things to the next level, that moved themselves up the scale, that have been taking the time to learn lots of wonderful things, the people that said, okay, I don't have any money right now, but it's time to hire someone to help me to grow, because that's important, because if I don't have money now, when the world reopens, I'm not going to have money then either. So what can I do now to set myself up? How can I start something? How can I get in How can I invest in myself or get other people to invest in things? What can I make happen? There's still tons of money. There's still tons of opportunities. I can tell you, okay, the people that I'm around, the people that I'm associating with, the people that I'm growing and learning with right now, we're all busy, right? And you can be busy too. So you can focus on the lack or you can focus on the abundance. It's your choice. And when you focus on the abundance, guess what? You start to find it. So that's my request for you, is to go out and start to find the abundance in the world, to start to be in touch with that part within yourself, that wonderful part that can enjoy this relaxed feeling, like being on vacation, and at the same time, be moving forward and making good choices and having harmony in all areas of your life. Because it's not just about having life be one long vacation. And it's not about work and work and work and work just to survive. Trust me, I did that for 3 years. It has a reward, but it's not much fun. But when you create that harmony, with doing what you need to do, being productive, realizing that there is a next level for you to grow into, realizing that you can become a better version of yourself, that there's something to hope for. And even if that hope is manufactured by you, you're living into it, living as if, and you're creating it to be your future, your choice, your life, and you make it happen. And it starts from deep within. It starts with those 3 choices. It starts with that choice of how you're perceiving the situation, by what you're focusing on. You can focus on the positive and feel positive. You can focus on the negative and, well, not feel positive, right? You can put a good, empowering meaning to it, and you can take right action. So I'm going to request of you that if you feel any benefit from this in a way that helps you to feel empowered, that you'll go out and really integrate this good feeling by taking the action of sharing with others. Right? You've got an opportunity right now to share the wonderful experiences that you're having. Right? If you know someone that can benefit from going through these experiences and you don't share it with them, what are you doing for them? You know, someone shared this with you. You know, some of you I invited directly. What if I didn't invite you to come to this? What if I didn't offer this? Then how would you have gotten the benefits that some of you have expressed you've gotten from this? And if you're not getting a benefit, then please tell me that you're not. What is it that you want to get from this? And I can shape it. I've got lots of skills, I've got lots of abilities, and all I want to do is to share with you the experience of becoming a better version of yourself and open you up to those possibilities. So take all the time that you need in the next minute of clock time to bring yourself back into conscious awareness now. Some of you might have felt like you went into a deeper trance. Some of you might have kind of felt like you were drifting in and out. Some of you might have felt like you weren't really in much of a trance at all. Sometimes those are my favorite ones because they're skeptical about getting any results. And the best results I've gotten with people sometimes have been driving in the car, just having a conversation. Because really, in the language that I've been using with you is built in shifts on your other than conscious level. Because part of you's been listening to me consciously, and part of you's been listening to me with your other than conscious mind thoughts. So when those parts of your mind work together as one, to help you to realize and extract any benefits that you had gotten from not feeling the most positive emotions, by focusing on what's missing, by focusing on what's lacking in the world, by focusing on what you're not in control of, by focusing on the past, which you can't change anymore, and creating a negative meaning from that and taking no action. Okay, what you can do is to take all of that and to think about 3 ways, 3 new positive actions that you can take, 3 ways that you can focus on what you do have, 3 superpowers that you already have within you. And you can do this not just for your own benefit, but for the benefit of you being a leader, to add value to others' lives, to add meaning to your life and to others' lives. To take these unprecedented times and implement unprecedented opportunities for yourself and others, to plan ahead, to be hyper proactive, to make things happen, to have the courage to move forward, even if you're feeling fearful about it. Face those fears. And if you can't resolve those fears, reach out to me individually. Okay, anyone who reaches out to me individually, I promise I will help you to figure out a way that you can not only overcome those fears, but you can grow as a result of it, and that you'll thrive as a result of it, and your life will be better as a result of it. Not just for yourself, but for all the people in your life to benefit from a new and improved, better version of you who's taken your life as a leader to the next level. So when you're ready to experience this, okay, on level 5, with all 5 of your senses at full capacity right now, living at that level of conscious excellence, right? You've taken it from unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence to conscious competence to unconscious automation, and then stepped it back and stepped it forward to a level of conscious excellence, right? Where you're strategically living your life and you've got the parts on autopilot that you need to, and your conscious mind, the best of your conscious mind and the best of your other than conscious mind are working together in full rapport for the same outcome, to take your superpower and bring it to the world full on, right here, right now, with all 5 of your senses fully awake, fully alert, and fully aware of just how good that feels for you. So, how'd you enjoy that trance? Anyone want to share? Feedback, questions?
I thought it was good. I actually, I need a little. I've been working on building a bar in the backyard, so I kind of and thank God for your minion. She reminded me that I wasn't on the call.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, it was good. It was good, very good. I like the music, by the way.
Yeah, that was created by my mentor, who I think I mentioned in this talk somewhere along the lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was talking about addiction to air. That was him. Topher, my buddy Topher. When I met him, his name was Wayne, and then I found out his name was Christopher. But the organization, the American Board of Hypnotherapy, that he was working with at the point, who I trained with, there was another Chris working there who started before him. So instead of being Christopher, most people call him Chris, but there was already someone called Chris. So he took the second half of the name and called himself Topher, which turned out to become a pretty unique name. And last I heard, he's running for mayor of Tampa. I still can't wrap my head around that one, but
That's pretty funny.
He's a great persuasive speaker. So, and I'm sure he's got a great message. So look out, Tampa. Here comes Topher. Hang on. You've had hurricanes. Now you've got Topher. And I'm sure he's going to make things happen down there in a good way. So anyone else?
Thanks for sharing, by the way. You had a cabinet trip.
Anyone else want to share something good, something positive, something you didn't like about it? I'm open.
I thought that was great, and I also really liked the music. It was pretty deep trance for me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's kind of starts off as like a non-trancey kind of trance. I mean, I gave you guys control of your own induction to do it how you wanted. So, okay, thanks for that feedback. Cool. Anyone else? Just unmute yourself and chime in.
No, I thought it was good. I said you had good insight on spending your time wisely, which, you know, it's very easy to get caught up in just sitting around and not doing anything but watching TV and all, but using your time wisely right now, like you said, is probably going to be a time when we are stuck in the house. So using time to work out and reinvent your business. I'm actually a personal trainer who lost my job at a gym I was at. So I was kind of just wallowing around for the last 3 or 4 weeks, but just now am I starting to get where I'm reaching out to some clients that I had, see if people want to do outdoor workouts, things like that. And to tell you the truth, it's nice to make a couple extra bucks, but just to get me up and out of the house and get to someone else's driveway and work them out is tremendous for me mentally.
Right.
And it's me a lot just to feel like I'm useful again in that capacity.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of things, and if you want to talk offline, you know, I work with a couple of personal trainers, and you know, the biggest thing that they're all focusing on right now is staying in the awareness of their clients, their current clients, and even developing new clients. You know, even if they're not actually working with them yet, they're lining up their pipeline so that when they can interact face to face or doing things like you're doing, meeting with people outdoors with social distancing, watching each other. I know several of them, one in particular has committed that every day, no matter what, she is posting a 2 to 3 minute, one exercise video that people can do at home with pretty much zero equipment. So there's lots to do, and I'm glad to hear you taking action on that, Doug. Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
So anyone else want to share?
Mark, I'll share. You know, in the beginning, I was like, this is great. I love having this staycation because, you know, I like work constantly. I never shut off. And like for the first time in my life in a long time, I shut off. And I was like, this is great. I wasn't, I was like not feeling the fear yet. That was in the very beginning. And then like about a week later or 2 weeks later, I'm like, okay, this is not fun anymore. So I got I was starting to get a little depressed. But I have to say, like listening to your meditations every week, it definitely inspires me. It helps me stay motivated and positive. And that's why I share it with everybody I know. And I don't know what the timing is, like of when people will look at that email. Maybe next time I'm going to send it out on Wednesdays instead of like on Thursday. I just have to like play around with when I'm sending it to people because I do want everyone in my network to hear you because you have so much to offer. So as you know, I'm a great fan of Mark's, and I'm definitely his minion.
I appreciate you, Julie. And
I appreciate you, Mark.
okay, cool. Anyone else want to share?
Hey, Mark. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Esther.
Hey. I just wanted to chime into what you were saying. I really enjoyed this session. And I think, and hopefully my comment benefits everyone listening, that as we check in on friends and family and we try to like motivate them, to do things that are productive, my personal experience has been that everyone is dealing with this their own way. And for me, it's been helpful to meet people where they are. Because like initially, I did take I was proactive to share with a few friends, and a friend of mine had joined a session, but it's almost like, I don't know, it's almost like everyone is dealing with this in their own separate way. And sometimes I feel self-aware, like if I'm speaking to someone and they're maybe not in the best spirit, and I'm like, well, I'm doing great, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that, and I've almost, become very self-aware to kind of like tune into what that person is saying and how they're feeling. And maybe I can just be a listening ear in that moment in time, as opposed to try and get them to be in the same vibration that I am. That's been helpful because sometimes it's a little discouraging when you try to motivate other people to do things that are being helpful for you, and then they sort of are hesitant or they're not as open-minded. So I've been more aware to just sort of respect, still encourage, but respect everyone's process.
Cool. That's a great point. I like that. So, again, it's, yeah, be mindful of where other people are at. Like I have a good friend of mine, he's 88 years old and he loves talking with me, but he hates the phone. And, but he's not really letting anyone come over and visit right now because, not that he doesn't trust people, but he's just, he's 88 and he's kind of mindful of like the less people he interacts with face to face right now, the better. So I call him because I don't want to not call him, but I'm very mindful of, I can hear when he starts like saying, yeah, 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 yeah. Like I can tell like certain verbiage that he uses that it's time for me to get off the phone before he starts feeling like we've been talking too long on the phone. And it's interesting because it's not that he wants to end the conversation. It's that he just doesn't want to talk on the phone, right? But that's the only way we can talk right now. So I reach out to him. I let him know I care. He gets that. We talk for a little bit, hit on a couple of points, and then he'd rather talk more often than for longer periods of time in any one shot. So yeah, meet people where they're at. Ask them if you're not sure. Be aware. This is times when it's more important to be aware and have the sensitivity that when someone's like really listening or not. So anyone else want to share? We're a couple minutes past 8:30, but we'll go another minute or two if people want to share. If not,
Can you hear me, Mark?
yes, Yannick, I can hear you now.
Okay, I just want to say that the meditation, I started enjoying the music more and more. But I want to say that my whole thing with meditation, I'm saying I have to get negative thoughts out of my head. And I had more positive in my future. And I love that you talked about the surfing. That was really nice. So it kind of helped me really be very positive. And so my future and things I want to do, so it was good. I enjoyed it. I appreciate it.
Very cool. My pleasure. Glad you enjoyed it. Okay. I think we heard from pretty much everybody. Anyone else? I think we have maybe one or two more people. Does anyone else want to share? I guess not. Okay, so again, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. And, I do offer one-to-one services with people. This is kind of my shameless self-promotion for a minute. A little bit of a commercial. I'm Mark Siegel. I'm the personal mind trainer. And, a personal trainer helps you work out your body. And kudos to Doug and the other people out there who are helping people get in great physical shape. I don't work on your body individually. I'll send you to people like Doug to work on your body or other personal trainers that I work with. I'll send you to people like Carol and other health and wellness coaches to get your diet and your eating habits right and making healthy choices. But what I do is I help you to train your mindset. And this meditation is kind of a taste of that to help you to change your thinking. And it all starts with a thought, right? Create the blueprint for your future. Align your beliefs with that blueprint. Make the best possible decisions you can, because life is choice. You make good choices, you live a great life. You make random choices, well, you get what you get. You make bad choices, you don't live the best life. You make positive choices, you live a positive life. You make empowering choices, you make proactive choices, you live a positive, proactive life. Okay, and then you create a plan, a roadmap, a blueprint of where you want to be going and how you want to get there, including all areas of your life. So you have the best of health, you have the best of your physical abilities, you have the best environment that you live in. You live in the country, the state, the town, the house. It's decorated the way you want it to be. It's neat and it's clean. Okay, whatever level is important to you about your environment. You have fun, you recreate yourself, you take the time to connect with a higher power and your spirituality. You do things to improve yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, personal growth. Okay, you take time for your friends, you take time for your family, you take time for your significant other, and you really connect on a deeper level. And when you have a plan to do all of those in harmony with each other, so you're not sacrificing any area of your life, and that wheel of life kind of starts to roll smoothly, right? Then you add in the rocket fuel of, hey, you want to be more motivated, you want to be more positive, you want to feel empowered, you want to be confident, you want to be calm and relaxed and focused and really disciplined and structured in your life, and you want to be spontaneous, and you want to be resilient, so that no matter what life throws at you, you can get yourself back on track and focus and get things done at the right time in the right way for yourself. Okay, and then it's just like clear the roadblocks, full speed ahead, and living the life of your dreams. Okay, this is what I want to help you to do. This is what I do for people. I've done it for many people. Okay, and they become a better version of themselves. And my signature program is called Designing the Ultimate You. Okay, and I'm writing a book about it now called The Hero's Journey to Success. Okay, and it really is a journey. And I'm going to end on this. A lot of people focus on the destination, but when you make the journey the destination, then you're already there. And I want to help you to realize that. So I'm glad you're joining me on my journey to help you guys be able to meditate, and join us again next Thursday, 7 p.m. Okay. I promised everybody that this was free for the month of April. Okay. And I'm sticking to that. We may extend that a couple of weeks into May, so stay tuned. Okay. But I'm going to put it out there that the people who've been here and the people that have been coming, it's going to depend upon you, because as long as this is growing and we're getting more and more people and we reach that capacity of 100, I'll keep going, and I'll keep doing it for free, and I'll offer you more and more and more. Okay, but I don't like wasting anybody's time, especially my own. And if it's not going to grow, and if people show up every here and there and no one's really inviting anyone else to do it, so if someone says they enjoy it, but they're not telling anyone about it, then are they really enjoying it? Or maybe they're just shy, I don't know, but I'm not faulting any one particular person. I'm just looking, I can't grow this on my own. Okay, it's for you, and I want to offer it for you. And if you want more and more and more value, bring more people, and I will grow it, and I will offer as much value as I can, and I will shape it to whatever content that you want me to add or subtract or shape it. I've got tons of tools. I've got lots of great stories. I've got hundreds of different ways to hypnotize you and bring you into a deep trance, some conversational, some deep and relaxing, some empowering and motivating, and some combinations of all the above. And I just want to keep giving you more and more value. So reach out to me individually and let me know how I can serve you better. Have a great night. And I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. And I value your time. And it's 8:41, so I'm going to end now. And you can reach out to me anytime you want via email or my cell phone. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Mark.
Thank you so much. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Take care.